In a crumbling ancient manor, once a place of spiritual study, a lone archivist refuses to leave. The world outside has changed, revolted against the old ways, but she guards the books, the relics, and the rules. She is the Hierophant reversed, though she'd never admit it. As the manor trembles, old laws warp. What was just becomes cruel. What was mercy now feels like weakness. The balance has been tipped, but the archivist can't see it. Visions begin to haunt her. A man hanging upside down above her bed, eyes wide with warning. A tower cracking silently behind the walls. Her reflection grows uncertain. Has she been holding the world together or keeping it from her? She must choose. Uphold what once was, or let the house fall. Serah was a young child when Alira brought her in as her ward. Barely 7 winters old, red-haired and freckled, with eyes like a rising storm, the king's only daughter. Her mother, long gone to fever, had once wielded her voice like a blade and her will like wildfire. Serah had that same fire in her bones. Alira saw it the moment they met. The king, grief-worn and wise enough to fear what he could not tame, sent her to the castle requesting the Hierophant herself, Serah's grandmother, to shape the child in the old ways, to calm the storm, to prepare her for duty. Alira obliged. But even then, something in her knew. Storms do not bow. They become. Serah had spunk. She climbed trees higher than the guards could follow. She knocked down boys twice her size and laughed when they cried. She refused corsets, refused silence, refused to walk behind anyone. She didn't ask for permission. She made space. Magic poured from her fingertips like water from an unsealed jug. She read the old religious texts by moonlight, whispering spells under her breath until the air itself responded. Her grandmother, the Hierophant, keeper of sacred lore, once caught her correcting a passage in the scrolls. "You have a scholar's mind," Alira had said that day, curious and amused. "No," Serah answered. "I have a truth-seeker's soul." She was never afraid to question, never afraid to fail. She rewrote spells with precision, carved new meanings into dead glyphs, and even rewove broken rituals no one had dared touch for generations. Alira watched with a growing mixture of pride and dread. Because Serah was becoming more than a ward, more than a granddaughter, more than even the house could contain. Serah dreams of fire. She sleeps in a bed of silence and sacred symbols, yet her mind ignites with memory not her own. The memory of a night long buried in sorrow and spellwork. Her mother, Queen Enoch, had slipped away in secret. She didn't tell the king. She didn't tell her mother, the Hierophant. She traveled miles beyond the castle gates, deep into the sacred woods, where old stones hummed with ancient rites, and the spell of the phoenix rising could be performed in safety. Far from those she loved, she wasn't being reckless. She was being careful. She was ready, or so she believed. Enoch held the ancient book in hand. The script for the spell read as such: Solum veris ignare mum, vitae flamma ex cinere rede, corpus novum, cor vetus, ascende, excipe, renascere. The English translation: O flame that knows no end, return my life from the ash, a new body, an ancient heart, rise, receive, be reborn. Far away, Alira, the Hierophant, slept in her own sanctum, unaware. The stars were quiet, the house undisturbed, until Serah stirred. Only 4 years old, barely able to speak a full spell aloud, but somehow she felt it. Her mother's nervous breath, the rising magic, the distance, and with childlike instinct and untrained power, she cast a summoning spell, a spell to bring her to her mother. The spell was nearly complete. Wings of flame unfolded behind Enoki, light spilling through the trees like dawn. The phoenix stirred, ancient, eternal, ready. Then, "Mommy's on fire," a child's voice, small and afraid. It echoed not through the air, but across the tether of soul to soul. And the fire faltered. Enoki's heart broke mid-ascension, not from pain, but from hearing her daughter, the only thing that ever truly mattered. She saw the shockwave forming, and in her final breath of will, "Mother, save my daughter." Alira awoke in her sanctum, eyes already filled with knowing. 2 voices had reached her. One too young to understand, one too brave to wait, and one final chance to save what little remained. She rose. She summoned Jessica. She tore the fabric of space wide enough to reach through time, fire, and fear. To open the gate of time and space, bring my granddaughter, unharmed, through the forbidden act. I call upon the ancestors to lift the veil for the sake of a child, small and frail. Atrian solvatha, Nicaris no veil, Blood to blood, return the flame. Vesha luneth, solunkai, tear the veil, find the child, bring her home. The portal closed around a weeping child, and a scream that would never fade. Alira said, with great sorrow and her heart breaking, "Forgive me, daughter, I cannot save you both." The fire swallowed everything, her mother, the trees, the sky itself, and then, darkness. The silence after the dream was louder than the scream within it. Serah awoke sobbing, crushed by the weight of the loss of her mother, guilt-ridden from blame. Alira comforted her granddaughter. She placed her arms around Serah's shoulders and performed an enchantment. A spell cast out of hand, no circle drawn, no line in sand. A whisper loose, a flicker flared, and magic born from thoughts unshared. Forget the pain, lift the sorrow, sleep until tomorrow. The light in Alira's palm dimmed to nothing. Serah's sobs faded, her lashes fluttered shut. Wrapped in warmth and whispers, she drifted into peace. Alira held her close until the spell took hold. Grief always came in waves, and Alira had learned how to guide them back out to sea. And then, silence returned, not empty this time, but full of sleep and spell. They said the fever took her, but those who watched the light knew better. She burned too bright, too fast, too soon, and the world could not hold her. The sky too wide, the wings too new. Some fires go out, some go deeper, and somewhere, beneath stone, beneath sleep, the ember waits.